Good morning, students. After studying the chapter Determination of Income and Employment, today we will discuss about the government budget and the economy. This is next chapter, a new chapter which we have to study. Under this, we will see the meaning of government budget, objectives of government budget, and many dimensions of government budget, types of government budget, and types of budget in the sense of surplus, deficit, and types of deficit budgets, and what type of which kind of remedy we can do for correction if any deficit occurs in budget. So let's start from very first concept, that is the meaning of government budget. This is the definition which you should remember always. Being a student of economics, you should know the meaning of budget. The budget is an annual statement of this is the annual statement of the estimated receipt. This estimated receipt, not actual receipt, it's estimated receipts and expenditures of the government over the fiscal year or financial year, which runs from April 1 to March 31st of the succeeding year. So students, please always remember this meaning of government budget. You all are aware about your family budget informally, but in formal sense here you have to study about the government budget. Okay, now what are the objectives behind government budget? Number one objective is reallocation of resources. The scarce reallocation of resources in the line with social and economic considerations. Okay, this is the first objective of government budget. You should remember it. Now, second objective of government budget is redistributive activities. Okay, government also redistributes the income and wealth to reduce inequality among people of our country. So this is the second objective. And third one is to stabilize the economy. By stabilizing many activities, government tries to maintain economic stability. For example, high level of employment and price stability with the help of its budgetary activities. Government always try to maintain the price stability and try to increase the level of employment in the economy through many budgetary tools and activities. Okay, this is the third objective of government budget. And fourth one is about the management of public enterprises. Whatever things, whatever enterprises or firms running under the public sector, government sector, under the supervision or authentication of government undertakes commercial activities like production of railways, electricity, etc. in the area of natural monopolies, where generally you can see the area of natural monopolies, water supply, electricity, railway. In such cases, government owned the 100% share of such enterprises, and being a 100% shareholder or being a owner of such enterprise, government must manage such enterprise. So this is the last objective of this government budget, management of public enterprise. So these four objectives always you should remember. It may come in your exam. Now, impacts of budget on the economy. What may be the impacts of budget on the economy? Budget can impact the economy at three levels. In many levels it may affect, but here in this notes or in your syllabus categorized in three levels only: aggregate fiscal discipline and allocation of resources, and effective and efficient delivery of services. So let's discuss about the first, aggregate fiscal discipline. Fiscal discipline may come through the budget of budgetary system of our economy, means having control over expenditures for proper macroeconomic performances. Okay. Number two, allocation of resources based on the social requirements, priorities, okay, needs, necessities. Now, third, impact of government budget on the economy you can categorize as effective and efficient delivery of services by the government. Whatever services government providing, it may be provided with the help of budget in efficient manner. So these are the importance or impact of budget on the economy. You can see. Now, structure of government budget. Now we'll discuss about the structure of government budget. For the concept, I categorize it in two parts, two big parts. You can see here. One is budget receipt, another is budget expenditure. It means whatever government receiving as income comes under this part, and whatever government spending will come under this part. So again, budget receipts categorized in two parts, hmm, revenue receipts and capital receipts. How this categorization take place we will discuss. Okay, now what things will be coming under the revenue receipts? Tax receipts. Basically in this you can include the tax receipts and non-tax receipts. Again, you can categorize the tax receipts into direct tax and indirect tax. In next slide, I will clear you all about these categorizations. एंड नॉन टैक्स रिसीप्ट्स, बहुत सारी रिसीप्ट्स सरकार को जो टैक्स के अलावा होती हैं वो आएंगी इसमें. एंड कैपिटल रिसीप्ट्स, इन दिस वी कैन इंक्लूड बोरोइंग एंड अदर लाइबिलिटीज, receipt which creates which may come through borrowing, or which may create other liabilities, many liabilities. And other many other receipt we'll discuss about later in next slide with example. Recovery of loans also you can include in this. Okay, and this part capital expenditure you can categorize again here also revenue expenditure and capital expenditure in two parts, revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. Revenue expenditure includes planned revenue expenditure, non-planned revenue expenditure. This is the categorization for understanding only. Plan, non-plan, developmental expenditure, non-developmental expenditure. You can debate on it. Either any item, expenditure on any item is developmental or non-developmental, but for the sake of easierness it has been categorized by the budgetary system. In budgetary system, plan, non-plan, development, non-development. Here capital expenditure, it is also categorized in many parts: plan, non-plan, developmental and non-developmental. So this is the actual budget form. When you can see on the website of RBI the budget, actual budget, how the finance minister explains the budget. The documents looks like this: revenue receipts. In this you can include tax revenue, non-tax revenue, so 2 plus 3 is equal to 1. Revenue receipts, then capital receipts, receipts from recovery of loans or many other receipts which may create liabilities or reduce your asset. And third, here borrowing and other liabilities. When you will include all these things, all 5th, 6th and 7 items, you will have this capital receipts. After that, total receipt you will have when you will add item number 1 and 4. It means you are adding here the all 7 items. You will have total receipts 1 plus 4. Here you can see very simple categorization. Now tax receipts you did. Now non-plan expenditure, in this included the expenditure on revenue account, interest payment, expenditure on capital account. These 3 things included in this. After that, planned expenditure you can include in this: expenditure on revenue account, expenditure on capital account, something you already plan in your budget. Such expenditure comes under these. Non-planned sudden expenditures which you may not predict, presume it, अनप्लान्ड अनफोर्सिन इवेंट के लिए खर्च होता है तो इधर आएगा. प्लान किया हुआ है बजट में, प्रावधान किया गया तो इधर आएगा. नाउ टोटल एक्सपेंडिचर 9 plus 13, 9 means non-plan expenditure and plan expenditure. You will add both, you will have the total expenditure. Now you can see revenue expenditure here. Revenue expenditure, how you can get, by adding item number 10 and item number 14, because expenditure on revenue account here also and expenditure on revenue account here also. Only the difference is here you have taken the non-plan expenditure, here you have taken the plan expenditure, but by nature you have to include in revenue expenditure both. Okay, likewise here capital expenditure also, item number 12, expenditure on capital account under the non-plan expenditure, and item number 15 expenditure on capital account under the planned expenditure. Okay, so it will be the addition of item number 12 and 15. After that, how you can get the deficit in budget? Revenue deficit, how you can get revenue deficit, or directly you can get by deducting the item number 1 from item number 17, revenue expenditure minus item number 1, revenue receipts. You will have revenue deficit. You are dealing the half part of budget here, and try to get the difference, how you are spending as revenue in revenue quota, and how you are receiving in revenue quota. That is the difference of both. 17 this is the 17, revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. Very simple, you will have the revenue deficit. Okay, now next concept under deficit, fiscal deficit. How you can get, when you will when you deduct item number 1, revenue receipts, from item number 16, where it is total expenditure minus revenue receipts plus which thing you have to include, 5 and 6, recovery of loans and other receipts. So basically the fiscal deficit showing the dependency of government on these two items, recovery of loans and other many types of receipt, sources of receipts, where after receiving the responsibility or liability of government may rise or asset may reduce. Okay, and third, primary deficit, directly you can get by deducting item number 11 from item number 20, means fiscal deficit minus interest payment will be equal to the primary deficit. In detail we will discuss in next slides. Components of budget, receipts. Now we will discuss only the part of receipt in budget. Budget receipt you can categorize in two parts, revenue receipts and capital receipts. Revenue receipts you can categorize in tax receipts, non-tax receipts. Tax receipts you can categorize in two parts, direct tax, indirect tax. Okay, let's see in detail what is tax. One mark question you may face in your upcoming exam about the meaning of tax. So students, please remember it. A tax is a compulsory legal payment to the government by the households, firms or other institutional units. The taxpayer cannot expect any service or benefit from the government in return. This is very important. You can't claim your money. You can't ask to government that I have provided the tax 10,000 rupee. Please, finance minister, tell me what you have to do with my 10,000 rupee. So it is legal and compulsory. You have to provide to government. It is a legal and compulsory payment. Anyone can't avoid it. It will be illegal activity when you are avoiding willfully. Okay, so then that was the meaning of tax. Now the type of taxes, many types of taxes. On the basis of nature it has been categorized: progressive and regressive taxes, ad valorem and specific taxes, direct and indirect taxes. Let's see in detail what is progressive tax. Progressive tax means it implies that the rate of tax increases with the increase in income. जैसे जैसे आय बढ़ती है टैक्स की दर भी बढ़ती जाती है. सच टाइप ऑफ टैक्स कॉल्ड प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्स, प्रगतिशील कर. Okay, next is regressive tax. Initially when your income is increases, tax amount is increases. Regressive tax implies that the rate of tax decreases with the increase of the income. In earlier case it was increases with the increase of income, but it is here the rate of tax decreases with the increase in the level of income. So this is the pratigami kar, regressive tax. Now next, categorization, ad valorem and specific taxes. Ad valorem tax means you can see you can say the value added tax is an indirect tax with the imposed on value added at the various stages of production. Ad valorem tax means something imposed on people of country as tax in the form of money, in the form of currency, that is called the ad valorem tax. You can give the example of GST, value added tax, etc. Specific taxes system. What is a specific tax? A specific tax, when a tax is levied on a commodity on the basis of its units or size or weight, it's called the specific taxation. Specific tax you can categorize as a tax imposed in the form of quantity only, size only. सिगरेट है, सिगरेट की साइज के हिसाब से उस पर लगेगा, क्वांटिटी कोई चीज़ वेट के हिसाब से लगे, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड स्पेसिफिक टैक्स. Okay, now next concept is the tax, that is a direct tax and indirect tax. What is direct tax? Direct tax means the burden of the direct tax has to be borne by the person on whom it is imposed. For example, income tax is imposed on the income of a person and he himself bears its burden, like income tax, corporation tax, gifts tax, wealth tax are example of many examples you can give. It means government impose the tax on a particular head and that particular head is compelled or bound to give the tax to the government directly. There is no any tax shifting meanwhile. Okay, so students remember, सरकार कर लगा रही है जिसके ऊपर वही दे रहा है. So incidence and impact occurring on both head. In such case you can see few examples here, that is called direct tax. And in the case of indirect tax, what will happen? The particular head is free to shift the tax. See, indirect taxes are those taxes whose initial burden or impact is on one person, but he succeeds in shifting the burden to another. This shifting is important. Here in indirect tax case, the shifting is possible, but in the case of direct tax, shifting was not possible. So tax shifting taking place, the burden to another person, for example sales tax, GST, all type of indirect taxes comes under this. Taxes, all taxes on goods and services come on this. Okay, according to economist Professor Dalton said that an indirect tax is imposed on one person but paid partly or wholly by another. Very simple thing. जिसके ऊपर लगाया जाता है वो खुद न देके वो दूसरों पे टाल देता है. जैसे कंपनियों पे कर लगाया जाता है तो कंपनियां प्रोडक्ट्स पे लॉन्च कर देती हैं, प्रोडक्ट्स पे उसको इम्पोज कर देती हैं और अल्टीमेटली वो एक और देता है, उसको कोई और देता है. जबकि सरकार कंपनियों पे कर लगाई तो कंपनियों के जो मालिक हैं, ऑनर हैं, वो क्या किए, वो प्रोडक्ट्स पे उसको शिफ्ट कर दिए. दैट इज कॉल्ड इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स. नाउ what is revenue receipts? Now here students you should make your concept more clear about the revenue receipt. What type of receipt comes under the revenue receipts? These are receipts of the government that neither reduces assets of the government nor or not create any corresponding liability of the government. This reduction of asset or change in asset and change in liability is very important. Two term always students remember. You can make clear your concept, asset and liability. When any change take place in both, इन दोनों में यदि कोई चेंज हो रहा है, that will come under the revenue, that will come under the capital concept, that will come under the capital part of the budget. So if asset increasing or decreasing, if liability increasing or decreasing, such cases comes under the capital part of budget. And where you can see there is no change in the asset and liability, you have to consider that case under the revenue part of the budget. Here we are dealing with the revenue receipts. Okay, in this case which kind of receipts come under the revenue receipts? Which neither creates or reduce any assets, nor reduce or creates any additional responsibility or liability. Okay, so I hope you all have clear this concept now. Types of revenue receipts, again, tax receipts, non-tax receipts, direct tax, indirect tax. Direct tax you have seen, indirect tax already you have seen. Direct tax means the burden of the tax fall on the person on whom it is imposed. इनकम टैक्स, कॉर्पोरेशन टैक्स, जिस टैक्स को टाला ना जाए। इनकम टैक्स आपके पापा मम्मी की सैलरी पे टैक्स लगता है, उसे टाला नहीं जा सकता। हम टीचर्स के ऊपर टैक्स लगता है, हम टाल नहीं सकते उसको। that is called income tax. So income tax is a type of direct tax. Best example of direct tax, income tax. Indirect tax, it is a tax which is imposed on other person. I have told you, other person, and the burden of the tax falls on other person. For example, sales tax, excise duty, custom duty, entertainment tax, etc. Many taxes comes under the GST. So commonly you can say the GST is the example of indirect tax. Now, non-tax receipts, some items you have to remember as non-tax receipts, because CBSE many times ask that state about the sources of non-tax receipts, or write the name of non-tax receipt sources. So you have to remember ऐसी चीज़ें, ऐसी ऐसी आमदनी, ऐसे रिसिप्ट जो सरकार को हो तो रहे हैं लेकिन बिना कर लगाए हो रहे हैं, कर के अलावा हो रहे हैं। जैसे फीस, बहुत सारी गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट, गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज, गवर्नमेंट मेडिकल इंस्टीट्यूट्स में आप जाते हैं, लैंड रजिस्ट्रेशन फ़ी, बर्थ डेथ सर्टिफिकेट, तो आपको एक कुछ अमाउंट देना होता है, रजिस्ट्रेशन फ़ी देना होता है, हाँ, लाइसेंस फ़ी देना होता है। व्हेन यू आर डूइंग समथिंग which categorize in the licensing regime, you have to pay the license fee amount. Okay, that will also be can see in budget under the non-tax receipts. Escheat refers to the income of the government from the property which has no legal heir. ऐसी प्रॉपर्टी जिसका कोई नहीं है, लावारिस है, तो ऐसी स्थिति में वो प्रॉपर्टी भी नॉन टैक्स रिसीप्ट्स में आएगा। Refers to the income of the government from the property which has no legal heir. Other examples are fines, penalties, gifts, grants. ये सब भी नॉन टैक्स रिसीप्ट्स के एग्जाम्पल है। ओके, नाउ कैपिटल रिसीप्ट्स, आई हैव टोल्ड यू द concept of A and L. Okay, A means asset, L means liability. Here you can see the reduction and increasement, decreasement in asset, and the increasement, decreasement in liability when you are dealing in capital part of budget. Capital receipts are those estimated receipts of the government that either create liability of the government or reduces government assets. Very simple. In this you can keep the recovery of loans, the receipt from recovery of loans, from borrowings, from disinvestment. Why disinvestment? Disinvestment means government is selling something which government already have. सरकार के पास जो पहले से उसको बेच रही है, बेचने का मतलब क्या? एसेट रिडक्शन। बोरोइंग के मतलब बाद में वापस देना होगा, रिकवरी ऑफ लोन बाद में वापस देना होगा। तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इधर बढ़ रही है, लाइबिलिटी इधर बढ़ रही है, एसेट इधर कम हो रही है। तो एसेट और लाइबिलिटी का जहाँ लेना देना हो, दैट विल बी द पार्ट ऑफ कैपिटल receipt or expenditure. Here we are discussing about the receipts. So recovery of loans, borrowing, disinvestment will be included under the capital receipts. Now budget expenditure. Now till now we have discussed about the receipt part of the budget. Now we will discuss about the expenditure part of the budget. Again, revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. Revenue expenditure refers to the estimated expenditure of the government which neither creates asset of the government nor reduces the liability of the government. This expenditure is incurred for the normal running of the government departments and providing services like interest payment, subsidies. इसमें कुछ नया नहीं हो रहा है, ऐसे खर्च जिसके बदले कुछ नया आपको नहीं मिल रहा है। रोड टूट गया बनवा रहे हैं, बिजली का खंभा गिर गया बनवा रहे हैं, नया नहीं लगा रहे हैं, तार टूट गया तार बना रहे हैं। इसे बोलते हैं हिंदी में रख रखाव खर्च। मेंटेनेंस एक्सपेंडिचर्स comes under the revenue expenditure. Okay, Now second concept, that is capital expenditure. Here गवर्नमेंट कोई हॉस्पिटल बना रही है, दैट खर्च होगा उस पर, लेकिन वो कौन सा एक्सपेंडिचर होगा? कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर। गवर्नमेंट का उधार पहले का था, उसे वापस कर रही है, तो एक्सपेंडिचर तो होगा, पैसा तो जाएगा, लेकिन कौन सा एक्सपेंडिचर होगा? कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर होगा। सो दिस एक्सपेंडिचर आइदर क्रिएट्स एसेट of the government or reduces liabilities, for example acquiring land, building, machine, investment in shares, advancing loans, etc. Okay, now plan expenditure and non-plan expenditure. Expenditure which are already planned in the budget, that come under the plan expenditure. Non-plan expenditure, unforeseen event. Expenditure occurs due to unforeseen event which is not covered in the budget. Developmental, this categorized, you can see, directly relates to the growth and development activities of the government. For example, expenditure on education, health, industry, transport, agriculture, these things comes under the developmental expenditure. एक बड़ा क्वेश्चन आता है, डिफेंस का एक्सपेंडिचर डेवलपमेंटल है और नॉन डेवलपमेंटल है? हियर इन योर बुक इट इज गिवन अंडर द नॉन डेवलपमेंटल एक्सपेंडिचर. सो दिस इज relevant with the non-development activities of the government. For example, expenditure on the administration, पुलिस प्रशासन पे खर्च हो रहा है, वो कलेक्शन ऑफ द टैक्सेस, टैक्स कलेक्ट करने के लिए पूरा डिपार्टमेंट होता है, आपको पता है, इनकम टैक्स, सेल टैक्स का डिपार्टमेंट होता है, उनको सैलरी जाती है, उनके दफ्तर बनते हैं, उस पर खर्च होता है. पेमेंट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट एंड पेंशनर्स, इन सबको जो पेमेंट जाता है, दैट विल कम अंडर द नॉन डेवलपमेंटल एक्सपेंडिचर. नाउ बजट टाइप्स. स्टूडेंट्स, बजट आपके परिवार का भी होता है, या तो वो बैलेंस होगा, जितनी आय उतना खर्च, जितनी आय उतना खर्च, नो प्रॉब्लम, दैट इज कॉल्ड बैलेंस्ड बजट, नो प्रॉब्लम. हियर यू कैन सी टोटल एक्सपेंडिचर इज इक्वल टू टोटल रिसीप्ट, नो प्रॉब्लम, बैलेंस्ड बजट. बट प्रॉब्लम इज हियर when you have deficit budget, total expenditure is greater than total receipt. This is the problematic situation. आमदनी अठन्नी, खर्चा रुपया वाली बात हो गया, जितनी आमदनी उससे ज़्यादा खर्च हो रहा है, दैट विल बी द प्रॉब्लमेटिक सिचुएशन. बट अनदर सिचुएशन हियर, सरप्लस बजट, इट इज़ विन विन सिचुएशन. जितनी आमदनी उससे कम खर्च हो रहा है, बहुत मस्ती की बात है, बट ये जनरली होता नहीं है इन डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमी, इन डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमी और एनी रेशनल इकोनॉमी और एनी रेशनल फैमिली. जल्दी देखने को मिलता नहीं है ये, ठीक है. तो बैलेंस्ड बजट थ्योरी एक कॉन्सेप्ट आता है. इट इज़ अनदर कॉन्सेप्ट विच यू शुड नो. What is this? It states that an increase in government expenditure which is financed by equal amount of the tax leads to an increase in income. Okay, aggregate demand. Income in the sense aggregate demand equivalent to the amount of government expenditure. Let's clarify it here. Balanced budget multiplier is another concept which you should know. The formula and the value of balanced budget multiplier is important. Under 1 mark question you may face. It defines as the ratio of increase in income to increase in government expenditure financed by taxes. Its value that is find like this. Whatever change take place, delta y upon delta g plus delta y upon delta t is equal to 1. टैक्स से जो एक्सपेंडिचर करते हैं आप, वो आपका इनकम जो बढ़ाता है उसका रेशियो बराबर होना चाहिए. डिफाइन एज द रेशियो ऑफ इंक्रीज इन इनकम. फर्स्ट चेंज विल टेक्स हियर and after that as result you can see the change in the total income of country. It will be equal in proportion, that's why the value will be 1. So balanced budget multiplier value always will be equal to 1. So this slide you have to remember for your exam point of view under 1 mark question. Now types of deficit. Number 1, revenue deficit. Okay, what is revenue deficit? It is the difference between revenue expenditure minus revenue received. This situation occurs, suppose this situation happens in your economy or in reality you can see in your economy, this situation